We go back at it again, getting set for another weekend of action, but we're not really going to focus on anything that's happening this weekend. We're already focusing primarily on what's happening Kentucky Derby 152. And today I want to focus in on the biggest question thus far. It's not about what horses are going to get in or what horses are going to have to scratch out because of injury. We know that's going to happen. We also know the race is going to be run. And we also know that there does not appear to be a lot of pure, easily identifiable speed signed on for the race. So today I want to focus primarily on the horses that I believe are the speed horses, and maybe of that group there could be one that might try to steal away. And then we'll talk about some of the historical occurrences that have taken place where horses have done just that. So first we take a look at our current leaderboard. Commandment at top, further ado. Renegade, So Happy, Full Effort, The Puma, Silent Tactic, Emerging Market, Albus. You see, Potente's got a little mark next to him because he's going to be really important in this discussion. Then we go to the next group. Pavlovian's got a little mark next to him. He's obviously going to be part of this discussion. Right to Party, Incredibolt, Golden Tempo, Otino. Class President is out. Stark Contrast is interesting. Dan and Bourbon, Wonder Dean. They're all in if they choose to accept, of course. Then there's Six Speed, super interesting. Iron Honor. There's Chief Wallaby and Chip Honcho. Chief Wallaby is a kind of a green runner, and they put blinkers on recently, but that's not going to result in more speed from that horse. So I don't consider him to be part of the conversation. Chip Honcho, if he should draw in, I think is definitely part of the conversation. So let's take a look at what I believe to be the 5 Derby pace setters. 6 Speed obviously has natural speed and is really tough on the front end. But that might be his undoing. But that's a horse that you have to consider when it comes to pace. Pavlovian, probably more of a natural progression because he used to be a sprinter. Now he is stretched out and he's tough on the lead. Chip Honcho, I don't know if he's going to draw in. But if he does draw into the race, he has no shot to win, but he is a pace factor, and that's why we kind of need him to draw into the race. Iron Honor, same concept. I don't think this horse has any shot to win the race, but he does have some speed, and the only way I think he can go is to be aggressive and get position early on. And then Potente is versatile, but I got a funny feeling he might be a speed factor early. Let's talk about our horses. A couple of things are really important. 6 Speed is fast. He beat a field of 15 runners going 7 furlongs in the Maiden race. Really impressive. And he didn't actually break on top. He had to get there, and when he got there, he was too tough. Came right back to beat a field of 15 runners in the 1 mile UAE 2000 Guineas. Very impressive again. And then when he popped out of the gate going 1 mile and 3/16 in the UAE Derby, man, he was gone. And Wonder Dean is the only horse that had any shot to catch him, and Wonder Dean was extremely impressive running down this lone leader. But we know 6 Speed wants to be on the front end. And we got a couple of comments from the jockey and the trainer. So the jockey on Wonder Dean thought that horse 6 Speed was going to come back to him sooner. And so he was a little worried that 6 Speed just kept on going, and he had to really, really work hard to go get him. Trainer and the rider of 6 Speed said that the jockey tried to get 6 Speed to slow down, to relax, and he wouldn't have it. Trainer confirms, says he's a free-running type of horse that does not know how to relax and settle. They're going to try to get the horse to relax and settle during the workouts. That has never worked. It will not work at this stage. This horse is going to fly out of the gate, and unless he gets into trouble, he's going to be on the front end. I don't know if he can steal it, but I think he's a very valid pace factor. He will have company. Pavlovian. A couple of reasons why I can almost guarantee 6 Speed and Pavlovian will be on the lead. First off, Pavlovian is a sprinter. He's the son of Pavel, which is a sprinter, great runner, trained by Doug O'Neill. I think had distance limitations. Now this horse started out sprinting, and if you see him sprinting, he's sitting just off the pace. And then when they stretched him out the first 2 times, he didn't necessarily go to the front, and I think they learned their lesson. Because he didn't really close effectively going 1 mile and 1.16 miles. They took him to Sunland. He goes straight up to the front, and he's there and he holds off another runner. Then we really see what kind of speed he has in the Grade 2 Louisiana Derby. He almost stole that race. Emerging Market had to go and get him, and Pavlovian wasn't coming back. He's a pace factor because Doug O'Neill is outstanding. He's a pace factor because we all know sprinters stretching out are always dangerous. He's a pace factor because Edwin Maldonado is an absolute send rider. You see, that's where things changed. When Edwin Maldonado jumped on this horse, they went to the front. That's what he does. I guarantee you they're going to try to get out of there quickly and get away from the field. And if they can do that, I don't know if the horse is necessarily good enough, but being in that position is a huge asset in the Kentucky Derby. Next runner that I think could be a pace factor is Chip Honcho. If he gets in, he's dangerous. I don't think he can steal it, but I think he wants to get out there on the front end and fight. And especially, listen to me, so Luis Saez is already committed to ride Commandment. If they put Paco Lopez on this horse, if this horse gets in and Paco is on, that's trouble for everybody. Because Paco does not care. He is going to go to the lead. And the reason why I like that is I really like knowing where my horse is going to be. Knowing the tendencies of the rider. And Paco is assertive. If Chip Honcho gets in, we hope he does because he's a pace factor and you want that pace in the Derby. Then there's another horse who's in, and I believe that he kind of has to get out there. I don't think he's quick enough to steal it, but Iron Honor can't sit back. He tried to do that in the Wood, and it's just horrible for him. He has to be in that first flight. He has to. He cannot close. He cannot rate effectively, in my opinion, especially going 1.25 miles. Now, you've got a rider in Manny Franco, if he's assigned to this horse. Manny Franco might be one of the most successful riders on the East Coast that most people do not trust in big races like this. And I don't know why. I think it's what he did with Tiz the Law. We were like, bro, you have the best horse in the race. What are you doing? And he kind of messed that up. All right, anyway. That's Iron Honor. I think he could be forwardly placed. But the wild card in here is Potente for Bob Baffert. First off, any Baffert horse is always dangerous in the Derby. We know this, and I'll give you further proof coming up in a moment. But what I think is interesting, the horse, nice fractions in that 6 furlong win. Then he came back in the San Felipe, and he had to sit off a little bit. They went kind of quick early on, so he sat off. Then they didn't go that quickly in the Santa Anita Derby. He found himself on the lead, and he was quite comfortable, and he ends up running second to So Happy. I think Potente is potentially very dangerous. A couple of reasons. Juan Hernandez is an outstanding rider on the West Coast, and he is an assertive rider. He doesn't always send his horses, but he's assertive. And if you mess around, he'll be out there on the front end and you won't get him. You cannot name a Baffert horse that comes into the Derby that has early speed and is not fit. If he has a closer, that's an issue. But if he has a speed horse, that horse is going to break on top and is going to be a problem. This horse can steal this race, and I hope he tries to, so that we can get the pace duel that we're looking for. But as we study this, I want you to go back. I want to take you back and look at the last 3 times where I've been able to see a horse that was pure speed, and it was clear that he was lone speed, and he got away with it. Authentic in 2020. Wire-to-wire winner, 46-2 for the half mile. That's a nice clip. And he didn't really have any pressure, right? Nobody really wanted any of that smoke. Once he got to the lead, Tiz the Law and Manny Franco, well, they thought they were probably the best horse, so they were just going to sit behind him, and then they could not get by him. You're not going to get past Johnny V. Are you crazy? So that is what happened. Also, the next year, Medina Spirit. Yes, he was disqualified, but he wasn't disqualified for bumping anybody or interfering with anybody. It was some nonsense. But race day, the horse was ready to go, and he was too fast. And he had to do a little work to get there. And then once he got there, no one could pass him. And you're looking at all these runners, and you're looking like, no one? That's the thing. It's interesting. If you're super aggressive and assertive, with your rider early on, you can completely change the complexion of the race. And that's what Johnny V did with Medina Spirit. Completely just got away from everyone else. And there was no speed whatsoever. And Mandaloun was never going to go by that horse. Never. So that's how dangerous it can be. And probably one of the situations where it was really frustrating because it was obvious that this horse was lone speed, War Emblem. Now he broke and he had two horses on either side of him. And Victor had to kind of work a little bit to get that lead. But once he got that lead and he went 47 for the half, he got to slow it down, and that was a problem for everyone else. And there's no other speed in the race. Once he got command, it was a wrap. He was gone. And so it just goes to show you just how dangerous speed was, and always will be in this race. And so we really have to see, okay, who's gonna draw into this field? Who's going to make up the body of the Kentucky Derby field? And then you always have to say, there's one horse that can steal it. There's always one horse that can steal it. I don't know if any of them are good enough to carry it all the way that you would bet them, but you have to account for their presence and utilize them in your exotics. This is the most fun time of the year for me because it's all about the science of how these horses are training, their pedigree, their riding assignments, the trainer tactics, what they've been doing, and if it works. And the beauty of it is, while you really want to have a rider with experience, Sonny Leone proved to us a few years back with Rich Strike, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. However, it does matter sometimes with Johnny V and Mike Smith. Those guys are so smart. You got to watch them. All right? So I feel like we're going to have some speed. I feel like there's going to be just enough to set it up for any runner you want to come from off the pace. I think we've identified valid pace factors, and we'll just see how it works out. All right? So you think about it. Let me know what you think. Did I miss somebody? Maybe Albus has some speed? I don't know. We'll find out. That's how we do it here on Horse Race Bets. In the meantime, in between time, and until next time, we'll see you here. I'm Ken Rudulph. Good luck and enjoy whatever you're into.